matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com.
All right, folks, there it is. We don't have the little ring-a-ding-ding, but the market, trust me, the market is closed, and it's good news. Believe me, that is good news. What you're looking at right there, I'll explain. Dow down 800. It was down 1,100 at one point. Still a big move in Dow. Again, 30 stocks in the Dow. We don't even watch that. The S&P, very less. There's going to be something. I think Trump administration is going to do something. They're going to make some announcement to ease the pressure on the oil market. Remember, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about $55 a barrel, $53 a barrel, now $80 a barrel in just a few trading days with the wrong trajectory. Remember, this raises prices at the gasoline pump about 45 days, 60 days down the road, getting too close to the midterms. I just think whether it's right or wrong, there will be some sort of intervention in the oil markets, easing the pressure of the gasoline price specifically. I just saw jet fuel was trading triple what it was 2 weeks ago. Jet fuel, which means airline tickets prices are going to go up as well. So keep your eye on that. I predict that's going to happen. Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market kind of backed off a little bit. Touched 74,000 yesterday. Still very low. Maybe you'll start to make its move back up. For too long, though, Americans have been trapped in a broken healthcare system. We've been talking about this all over the place. A system that forces one-size-fits-all solutions. America's health share offers an alternative to that support that supports faith, family, and personal freedom in healthcare. This is not insurance. This is a health freedom model. America's health share is a member-driven community where people share and manage their healthcare together. We believe healthcare should be affordable, transparent, absolutely, and aligned with your values, free from surprise bills or skyrocketing premiums. It focuses on prevention, personalized care, and keeping families healthy for the long run. Every American deserves health sovereignty, the freedom to lead their own healthcare journey with the treatments, insights, and support they need. America's health share is built on community, patriotism, and the freedom to make healthcare decisions that reflect your values and your conscience. We support therapies that are ethical, effective, and tailored to you, not one-size-fits-all mandates. Go to join ahsnow.org. I'll say that again, ahsnow.org/RAV to get started today. Membership starts as low as $68 for an individual, $136 for a couple, or $276 for a family. Take control. Stand for freedom in healthcare. Join ahsnow.org, ahsnow.org/RAV. That's ahsnow.org/RAV. And make sure you put that promo code RAV in there. All righty, folks, Washington, D.C., unusually crazy. But the last 2 days have been absolutely out of control, from the oversight of the Department of Homeland Security to DHS Secretary Kristi Noem being fired from her position, to Tim Walz lying in a congressional hearing on Minnesota fraud, to a Marine Corps veteran, Brian McGinnis, protesting America engaging in the war for Israel, as he puts it, during a Senate Armed Services Subcommittee. To discuss all of this, our own RAV White House correspondent Brian Glenn, BG, jump in here. We were talking, before the show started about how we tailor this segment, and we both agreed that the Noem stuff is very interesting. Timing on it, there's so much to unpack here. I'll let you go ahead. What do you know?
There is a lot to unpack here. I'll start with this. President Trump has often bragged about how safe and secure our border has been. We have not had border crossings in months. It's one of the safest, securest border we've ever had. So let's get that out of the way. But from what I'm hearing, there are a couple reasons why President Trump chose to fire Kristi Noem today, which, by the way, she was on the road in Nashville delivering a speech at a separate conference. We don't know if she got notice of this as soon as before she got to the conference or during the conference, but she did hold some remarks at the conference. Now, Senator Kennedy yesterday, if you remember, Eric, asked her about the $200 million ad campaign that featured Kristi Noem, Department of Homeland Security, often on a horse in kind of a glamorized way, if you will, asked her if President Trump had approved of that ad campaign. And she response was that what she was aware that he had approved that ad campaign. Well, to come find out, President Trump did not know about that $200 million ad campaign. So we got that. That's strike one. Number two, President Trump had questions about the leadership in that department, going back to the debacle, if you will, of Minnesota and Minneapolis, and having Tom Homan have to eventually come down there, kind of a change of a guard, if you will, and rectify that situation in Minnesota. And then lastly, he had his concerns about an alleged affair that had been brought up numerous times to the secretary. She addressed it as tabloid garbage, if you will. So those are the three main things. But really, when you go back and you look at, Eric, the Department of Homeland Security and what it's in charge of, I don't think anybody can question that Kristi Noem was not doing a fabulous job as far as securing our country. So a lot of people, Eric, are wondering why now, why this change? Now we go fast forward, Eric, to Mark Wayne Mullins, a senator there in Oklahoma, military background, if I believe, an MMA fighter, kind of a tough guy, if you will, on the Hill. You've seen him almost get into fights during some of these Senate hearings. He has been picked to take over Kristi Noem. We'll assume that position at the end of the month, March 31st. He's expected to be confirmed, no problems.
And so let's reverse just a touch here. You know, Kristi Noem and Corey Lewandowski have been rumored to have an affair for a long time, for a very, very, very long time, before, when she was still governor of South Dakota. So that wasn't new. I contend maybe that she will be the, let's call it the sacrificial offering from what happened in Minnesota. That may have been the nail in the coffin. I mean these commercials that she's been on horseback and, you know, whatever, for whatever reason in makeup, they've been around for a while too. So none of that is new other than the Minneapolis, what turned out to be a disaster. Your thoughts on that assessment?
Yeah, perhaps. You know, Minnesota got out of hand really quick. I mean, that thing got sideways and it dominated the news cycle for weeks on that. And it really did put the department and the administration under a lot of stress. So I can perhaps understand that. Now, as far as the affair goes, I don't know if that necessarily interfered with her job. I can't really speak on that. Now, as far as the ad campaign, though, that's what's interesting, Eric. And I have to almost think if that was somewhat of a planted question that might have came from the administration to Senator Kennedy. Look, out of all the things to ask the DHS secretary about, why in the world are you asking about an ad campaign, a public service announcement, if you will? And of all the things to be concerned about, why do you ask about that? So I have my questions.
I'll play devil's advocate here, Brian, because they spent $219 million. That just seems like an exorbitant amount of money to talk about. We're going to seal the border. It's just me. Listen, I've known Kristi Noem for a very long time. I've known Corey Lewandowski since 2015, since he brought Trump to prominence. I really enjoy both of them. I don't know. Mark Wayne Mullin, I like this choice, but what happens to that Senate seat? Is this a governor appoints until the next election?
Yes, I believe it's going to be a special election held now. That does put the Senate down a seat until that special election is held. So you can look at the SAVE Act all you want, and you throw that thing out the window. Anything else you wanted to pass in the Senate due to this. So that will be replaced. Now, look, Oklahoma is very deep red. A liberal is not going to take over that seat at all. But it will be some time before you get a special election and you do fill that seat.
All right, so we're going to keep our eye on that, what happens to that going forward. But I am concerned, certainly about the balance of power going forward, because it was kind of assumed that we were going to hold the Senate and the House was kind of up for grabs as of, recently. Like to see them lock them both down. That puts a little. And
you know what?
Go ahead.
Eric, it's been for the most part a very stable cabinet situation this second term of President Trump. You remember the first term; it was almost a rotating door in the very beginning.
Right.
So this
he didn't know anyone.
Term has been
he didn't know anyone. He was a businessman from New York who walked into and if you know about these things, when you walk in as a new politician to D.C., you immediately have to hire 10,000 people in the administration. And if you don't know any, I'll give you a good example. I'm having a conversation with someone about Sean Spicer today, and I said, Spicer was at the RNC, Reince Priebus was at the RNC in 2016, and they were giving Trump a hard time. They made him sign a loyalty pledge he didn't want to sign. He said, I might walk that back. And they were no friends of Donald Trump, yet Priebus became his first chief of staff. And Spicer became one of his comms people, even though they weren't on the Trump bandwagon from the beginning. So the poor guy had to walk into D.C. and hire 10,000 important people, and he didn't know who he could trust or didn't. This time around, that's why you're seeing a lot less turnover. I digress. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Yeah.
All right. So this other thing, we wanted to show this. This is from one of the hearings. There's a guy who's running for Senate in North Carolina. Trish and guys in the back, can you roll this soundbite? This guy disrupted one of the meetings, and watch what it takes to get this man. He's a Marine Corps veteran, Brian McGinnis, and he's going to try and lock down that North Carolina seat. Go ahead.
And sons and daughters, the war for Israel. Your inability to name that shows your ineptness as leaders. This is wrong. And nobody wants to fight for Israel.
A reminder to all our
Commandant, please stand up as a Marine and stand up for America. No one wants to fight for Israel.
Sir, thank you for your service.
Senator broke his hand. The senator broke his hand.
He's a Marine. Somebody come help him.
Control your Senate committee.
Look at you guys. You're robots.
We're just pointing out, yeah, he's a former Marine, but he was disrupting this hearing. He was saying no need to fight a war for Israel. That man did break his hand or his arm on the way out of that. And you saw Senator Sheehy from Montana assisting the police, the Capitol, I believe it was Capitol Police. But go ahead, sir.
No, I've sat through many oversight hearings with protesters from everything from Palestine, free Palestine, to the border, to Epstein files. I've seen it all. That was the most aggressive I've ever seen of any protest inside any building on Capitol Hill. Now, granted, Tim Sheehy from Montana rushed in there to help push him out the door. The gentleman did end up, it looks like, injuring his hand in that door, Jim. I think we all kind of cringed, Eric, when we saw what was happening. Now, here's the thing. He has every right to express his discontent for the fight in Iran. There's a lot of people against this war, getting involved in a war with Iran on behalf of Israel. And that's exactly what this gentleman was trying to express. Now, there's a time and a place for that. I don't necessarily think, Eric, that was the time and that was the place for that. Now, he is running, like, as you said, for a Senate seat. So I don't know if that boosts his name recognition in that race.
It probably did. It probably did. Probably gave him a few Democrat votes there. I'm sure it did, because it's pushing against the Trump policy of going into Iran. And by the way, that he said he was going to run on the Green Party ticket, which means he's not Republican or Democrat, the Green Party. And that would take, I guess, try and take votes away from Michael Whatley, who's up against Roy Cooper for that Senate seat.
Which, by the way,
Tom Tillis,
he smoked. Yeah, which, by the way, Michael Whatley won by like 90%. Like, he won a lot. So I don't know if this guy would even put a dent as far as Michael Whatley is concerned, but who knows?
B, always good having you, my friend. Good to get the insight from inside the Beltway, inside the swamp. The swamp. Yeah. They call you a swamp. We call you swamp trainer, swamp creature trainer. Brian Glenn.
Swamp Slayer.
Swamp Slayer. I'd say slay that swamp. Try to say that a few times. Brian Glenn, everyone. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, folks, we dropped another episode on The Edge today. This one, I sat down and talked about the three arenas that I basically learned in. The first one was baseball, professional baseball. What an arena, what a fire that built. Then I went from baseball to Wall Street. I spent 12 years in the oil trading pits where pandemonium happened. I'd go through some of the stories there, and I ended up one day at Fox News, for whatever reason, in the big seats. I'll give you a little soundbite of what this episode looks like. I swear to God, that night, I do the 5 a.m. call. I do the morning show. I do the 5 o'clock show. I do the 8 o'clock. As I'm sitting down to the 8 o'clock show, O'Reilly show, I get the call. Hannity can't get a satellite signal from Detroit. No show for him. He's the 9 o'clock host. He comes on right after O'Reilly. And here's what they say: you're staying in the seat for 9 p.m. Of course I am. And of course I am. The reason we talk about this, we talk about the things that, those moments in life where you either you fail or you take the bull by the horns and you win. I had the opportunity to speak in front of 19 million people in one day. It'll never happen again in the history of cable news that someone sits in for both Hannity and O'Reilly the same night. We go through a lot of the stories. Do me a favor, just hit that subscribe, just aim your camera right at that QR code. We showed you how to do it the other day. Maybe we'll do it again later, show you how to do it. Eric Bolling and The Edge. Subscribe when a part of this journey. It's growing. We love you. Love you for being here at RAV. We love you for watching bowling at 4 o'clock on RAV every day. Just keep it there. Some people were up in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. I was on the chats. Some of the same people who are chatting right now. It's amazing. You guys are loyal. We love it. Please do subscribe and join me on The Edge as well. We'll be back in 2.5 minutes.
You're gone, but pressure builds and something breaks when truth gets dropped and shit.
This holiday season, Real America's Voice is proud to partner with our friends at Angel Studios for a special giveaway you won't want to miss. As they launch season 2 of their hit series Homestead, we're giving you the chance to win an exclusive Homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or text the word RAV Angel to 75802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive Homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAV Angel to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
My name is Phoebe, and I live in Florida. I love Real America's Voice. They truly speak for the people, and that's what real patriotism is all about.
Hi, this is Chris from Colorful Colorado. I'm drawbridging the Getter Chat. I trust no one for my news except Real America's Voice. So if anyone asks, I was never here.
My name is Tina, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm so grateful to be able to get my news from an organization like Real America's Voice, whose conservative values align with my own.
April approaching fast, and that means tax day is almost here. So if you need assistance filing or setting up payment plans, my next guest says you should reach out to Tax Network. Here to tell us all about it is Tax Network USA spokesperson Cameron Kinsey. Cameron, good to have you back. What are you seeing this year is anything different than any other year as April approaches, fast and furious?
Yeah, well, I mean, as we get closer to the deadline, Eric, we're seeing two groups of people right now. First, we're seeing the people who filed, who are absolutely shocked by how much they owe. And second, people who haven't filed yet because they're too afraid of what that number or outcome is going to be. But, you know, the worst thing that people can do right now is panic and let this become a bigger problem than it needs to be. But the second worst thing you can do is ignoring it completely. The earlier you face it, the more options that you're going to be able to have and the more control that you can keep over the situation entirely.
Cam, how recent, let's say, like what if it's 5, 7, 10 years ago that I maybe have forgotten something or I didn't file, Can we go back that far? Can you guys help people go back that far and get everyone up to speed so you go, okay, I'm current now, finally?
Well, I mean, the worst thing you can do is ignore the problem completely, like I said, but it's good to have professionals like Tax Network USA in your corner because they can basically act as a liaison between you and the IRS. So you're not having to jump on those calls and have that burden weighing on your shoulders when you can be spending time with your family and focusing on your job. I mean, first, file on time no matter what. Filing protects you from a much larger failure to file penalty, and those penalties do stack up over time. After that, don't just set up the first payment plan that the IRS offers you without understanding it completely. There are structured resolution options available that a professional team can go over with you, but you want to approach it strategically before those penalties and interest start compounding. So acting as swiftly as you possibly can just really gives you that leverage and keeps the balance from spiraling.
You know, I went this anecdotally one time. I was young. I bought some property. The first time I had some money, I bought some property. I sold it, made some money, forgot. I literally forgot about it. It wasn't a lot of money. But someone sent a 1099 in for the profit. I ended up owing more tax than I made on the transaction because I forgot about it. And so what you're saying is if people call Tax Network USA, they can at least stop that penalty phase from expanding as fast as long as you file and say, we're working out a payment plan. Is that about right?
Exactly. I mean, we go over every single option that may be available to you: offers and compromise, innocent spouse relief, penalty abatement. You just have to act on this immediately. Penalties start right after the deadline. Interest compounds daily, like I mentioned. So the worst people can do right now, they don't realize how quickly that number can eventually add up and snowball. I mean, a balance that feels manageable in April can look very different in just a few months if left untouched, especially once those additional notices and fees start, stacking up on top of that. So it's really important just to have professionals that can go over and weigh every single options. We have CPAs, we have licensed tax attorneys, we even have former IRS agents who really just know the tax code inside and out. We don't expect the average American to know the tax code inside and out like our professionals. So it's just good to have a team in your corner who has the same values as you, who doesn't want this government overreach, and we want to keep your money in your own pocket. And that's why it's just so important to have these professionals in your corner.
It really is important because these people know how to talk to the IRS agents. As you point out, some of them are former agents. They know the words they need to say to kind of get them off your back temporarily. Final thought?
Well, no, you're absolutely right. And I mean, the worst thing you can do is call the IRS or have conversations with them without getting a second opinion. It's always just a good idea to have professionals in your corner. Get that help. Our consultation is actually completely free, Eric. So you can call us at 1-800-905-8000. You can talk to one of our team members directly. Again, it's completely free, or you can go to tnusa.com/RAV and we can go over everything with you. Just fill out a quick form and somebody will be reaching out soon. Awesome. Cameron Kinsey for Tax Network USA. Thank you so much. Thanks, Eric. All right, folks. Our next guest, retired Border Patrol agent and now Border Security Advisor for the Federation for American Immigration Reform, FAIR. Always happy to have Art Del Cueto with us. Art, we got to go to the news of the day. Kristi Noem, been fired as Secretary of DHS. List your initial thoughts on her firing and then also on Mark Wayne Mullen as her replacement.
Look, I mean, obviously, it's shocking. It happened on a Thursday. That's what's even more shocking, Eric. Usually these things happen on Friday, right? That's when the news cycle should hit. So it is shocking, but I think we can't take away of what a fantastic job she did as the Secretary of Homeland Security. I've said it before, and I will continue to say it. She is the best Secretary of Homeland Security we have ever had, and she inherited a mess. She did a fantastic job, and I don't know. I have mixed feelings though when people say she was fired, and I get what you're saying. Look, I'm not going to argue with you, but when I've been fired from jobs before, I don't have another job. I got to go out and look for another job. But it almost seems like, okay, we're going to remove you from here, but we already have some position for you. So I don't know. I don't want to say fired, I would say more, she was removed from the Secretary of Homeland Security and she's being placed in another job. And then, the senator is getting a promotion to be the new Homeland Security.
You make a good point.
Secretary.
Mike Walls wasn't fired. He was put into an ambassadorship job, or UN ambassador, I believe it was, I think. But you're right. Maybe she does land somewhere else within the administration. That's typically what Trump does. He's pretty loyal to the people who've been loyal to him. And she's been loyal to him. But I think the issue that seems to be at the heart of it is this $219 million ad buy that DHS made. Trump says he didn't know about it when she was testifying yesterday on several occasions. She said he did know about it. And that seems to be the point that, at least the point that the White House is saying was the straw that broke the camel's back. On the other things too, the Corey potentially, relationship with Corey Lewandowski, and I've
been in places with them, Eric. I've been in places with all of them, and I've known Corey for quite some time, right? Yeah. And look, I won't even say I like Corey. I love Corey, and I talk to him all the time. I don't know what's going on that end. I'm not going to sit there and judge it. All I can do is judge her on what she's done within her job as a Homeland Security Secretary. And she's been the best that we've ever had.
Yeah. And there's no question the results on the southern border are her scorecard, and she's crushing it as far as she was crushing it. I love them both, too. I've known them both for a very, very, very long time. They're great, great people. Whether or not people like them or not, or they think she handled things the right way with that ad, whatever. Really, really good, solid people. Great governor, too, she was. Absolutely.
As well. And Eric, you know what? When you're on, and because you've been reporting on everything, that some other people sometimes don't want to report on. When you're on top of that target, you're going to take a lot of shots. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. And she's been on top of that target, making sure that our nation's safe. And again, I can't say enough good things of what she's done as the secretary. I
will leave it this, and I'm not accusing. It's just there was an instance that happened recently where they were flying, Corey and Noam were flying somewhere, and then they were changing planes and coming back, and something was left on one of the planes, and then a pilot got fired, but he got rehired. There's something there, honestly, Art. I call balls and strikes.
No, and you know what, though,
I call balls and strikes. I don't want to cover for anyone, because there's more there than we're knowing. Maybe that. Anyway, go ahead.
This is the thing, and I've already seen it happening on some of the social media platforms. Some of these guys that have spoken about issues with border security, and maybe in the same spot that I have, that have come on different shows and praised what's been going on and praised Kristi Noem, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, let me try to backtrack and say, well, maybe this is a good thing. Honestly, I felt this, I felt that. And I'm not going to be that guy, but you're going to see a lot of those individuals come out of the woodwork now, where all of a sudden, they turn their back on certain situations because maybe they want to remain vocal, or they want to remain the focal point. But at the end of the day, stats speak for themselves.
They do. And she's got the great statistics. Very quickly, about a minute or so only, Art. Sorry, a little bit of short segment here. Why Mark Wayne Mullen? I like him as a senator. I hate the thought of pulling a U.S. Republican out of the Senate vote, lose that vote. But why not Tom Homan? I still can't figure out why not Tom Homan.
Well, I mean, Tom Homan's already in his spot. He's very comfortable where he's at, and he's doing a fantastic job. I don't think maybe Tom Homan didn't want that situation, and he's just doing a good job where he's at. So I don't know, but I think the senator's going to do a good job. Look, I've seen him before. You've seen his track record. You've seen his voting. I think we're on the right step. He definitely gets handed over a Homeland Security that's much better off than it was when Kristi Noem first took over. We got to admit that as well.
100 million %. She inherited Mayorkas's Swiss cheese border. She closed the border. Some issues in Minneapolis, but we'll keep a track of all that. Art Del Cueto, always good having you, border security advisor for the Federation for American Immigration Reform. Sorry about this shorter segment, Art. We'll get
Thank you, Eric.
Longer next time. Appreciate your time. Thank you, Art. All right, folks, back 2.5 minutes.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead, scan the QR code now. Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with your Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Did you ever wonder what truly happened in the COVID-19 pandemic and whether Anthony Fauci would ever be held accountable? I think we all have. Filmmaker Jenner First has an upcoming documentary that searches for truth, transparency, and accountability called Thank You, Dr. Fauci.
Governments lie.
Anthony Fauci put everyone on the planet at risk without their consent.
It's beyond suspicious.
Research caused a pandemic, killed 20 million, and cost $25 trillion. Fauci would prefer a lie.
Public trust, national health, and global security are at stake as this documentary digs through thousands of pages of documents and interviews with former officials and whistleblowers in the most controversial narrative of our time that may also be one of the largest cover-ups in modern public health history.
There was a cover-up.
Why would we trade the Chinese the most advanced biotechnology in the world?
He's a spy.
It's insane.
I don't think this is going to be foolproof. Things are going to slip through.
Fauci knew and lied repeatedly.
Rather than being a partisan hit piece, Thank You, Dr. Fauci is an honest look at the origins of COVID-19 and a potential bioarms race with China.
Can't believe I'm saying this. Can we get Jasmine Crockett back, please? So Jasmine Crockett's out. And Texas Democrats Senate primary voters sent her packing, which, depending on your perspective, might sound like a moment of moderation. Maybe the party's dialing back a little. Maybe the temperature's coming down. Breathe a little. And then you look at who beat her.
Poverty is violence. Pollution is violence. And yes, prison is violence. Dismantle this system of violence. Build something new, something better, something rooted in love. It's hard to imagine a world without prisons, but it's also hard to imagine a world without telegrams and cassette tapes. Just because it's hard to imagine doesn't mean you shouldn't.
Prison is violence. Let's put it this way. You ever try, I don't know, putting some milk in your coffee and it's spoiled, the milk's bad, so you can't drink it. You won't drink it, but then your only other option is pour another cup of coffee, and there's some soy milk there, which is even worse. All right, so now you understand that Jasmine Crockett, James Tallarico conundrum. Anyway, here comes dollar store Beto O'Rourke vying for the Texas Senate seat. Woke as woke can be, proving that Democrats have learned absolutely nothing. And boy, do we have receipts. This guy is the terminator of wokeness. He's the wokenator. Receipts coming. Any sigh of relief that Jasmine's been turned away turns into the kind of laugh you make when the roller coaster you thought was ending just clicks up another hill.
How do you balance your feelings toward ICE versus the people you would represent who support deporting undocumented immigrants? You have 30 seconds.
So my family is from the border. My mom grew up in Laredo, Texas. I feel like Texans understand this issue of immigration more so than people in other states because we live with it, both the benefits and the challenges. So what I've said is that our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front and a lock on the door. We can welcome immigrants who want to live the American dream. We can build a pathway to citizenship for those neighbors who have been here making us richer and stronger, and we can keep out people who mean to do us harm.
Making us richer? But wait, there's more.
Before we go further, I want to acknowledge that our trans community needs abortion care too. Defending trans Texans is something we have to do every day at the state capitol. And you better believe I'll be giving sermons on that too. that. So when I use the word woman, it should not be understood as an exhaustive term, but rather as a lens through which to understand, examine, and interrogate patriarchy. Similar to how we specify anti-black racism.
All right, little guy, are you okay? He's at a sermon talking about how men need abortions too. So I ask, you sure you're all right, Tallarico? Just because you say something in a well-spoken voice doesn't mean you're not insane. And James doesn't just spout that nonsense in church, mind you, as a Texas state representative, by the way. The Wokenator makes it well known where he stands on the party's version of biology.
I want us all to be aware of is that modern science obviously recognizes that there are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6, which honestly, Representative Hefner surprised me too. Surprised me too, because I am not well versed in this issue area. I'm not a scientist. I'm a politician. A lot worse than a scientist.
Not 2 biological sexes, he says. James says there are 6 biological sexes. Wait, Jasmine Crockett, let me ask you something. Where'd you go? But wait, there's more, because once the internet did what the internet does, because old tweets should actually be called gold tweets in this case, turns out that Tallarico, the Wokenator, spent the 2020 era enthusiastically posting some of the greatest hits of peak pandemic progressive activism. And I mean, this guy makes Sir Pumps-a-Lot look like a Reaganite. We're talking about the kind of rhetoric that sounds less like a policy platform and more like a graduate seminar titled America, the Disease. Watch this. There are tweets about how white people spread disease just by being white. You have to see it to believe it. I'm quoting. This is Tallarico's tweet. White skin gives me and every white American immunity from the virus, but we spread it wherever we go through our words, our actions, and our systems. We don't have to be showing symptoms like a white hood or a Confederate flag to be contagious. And because that wasn't enough for James the Wokenator, he followed up with his own tweet with this little gem, quoting Tallarico, quote, "The only cure is diagnosing the virus within ourselves and taking dramatic actions to contain the spread. The first small step is proclaiming loudly and unequivocally that hashtag Black Lives Matter." Folks, we're going to cut into this monologue for the president before we get sick of Tallarico any further. Listen.
We got a lot of them here today, too many to introduce. Our operation. A lot of them are political champions, and we don't care about them today, right? The United States military, together with the they love our country. And before we begin, I think I will say a few words about what's going on with respect to our operation in the country of Iran. The United States military, together with the wonderful Israeli partners, continues to totally demolish the enemy far ahead of schedule and at levels that people have never seen before, actually. We're destroying more of Iran's missiles and drone capability every single hour, knocking them out like nobody thought was possible. As soon as they set off a missile, within 4 minutes, the launcher gets hit. They don't know what's happening. But we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. Their Navy is gone. 24 ships in 3 days. That's a lot of ships. Their anti-aircraft weapons are gone. So they have no air force. They have no air defense. All of their airplanes are gone. Their communications are gone. Missiles are gone. Launches are gone. About 60% and 64% respectively. Other than that, they're doing quite well. I said, what's left? But they're tough, and they want to fight. And they're calling, they're saying, how do we make a deal? I said, you're being a little bit late, and we want to fight now more than they do. We've had 47 years, depending on the way you count it, but 47 years of horror with this group. And, when you see somebody walking down the street without their legs, without the arms, whose face is so badly affected and hurt, it mostly came from 95% Soleimani and Iran. And we Other presidents lived with it. I didn't live with it. And so our people are doing a great job. Again, the greatest military anyone's seen. Thank you. Thank you very much. And yesterday, my administration announced decisive action to help keep down the oil prices, including offering political risk insurance for tankers transiting into the Gulf, as you know, pretty dangerous territory. Further action to reduce pressure on oil is imminent, and the oil seems to have pretty much stabilized. We had it very low, but I had to take this little detour if it's okay with everybody. Scott, it's okay with you? Scott's the one who has to put up with it. He said, you have to do this now? I said, I have to do it, Scott, right? But it's been very strong, and everybody, including Scott, everybody feels we had really no choice. They were going to hit us if we didn't hit them, because they're crazy. And in the long term, the actions we're taking will dramatically increase the stability of the region and oil prices and stock markets and everything else. You know, we set the all-time record in history with the Dow going to 50,000. So Dow was at 50,000. It was supposed to be maybe, if we were lucky, within by the end of my presidency in 4 years. And we did it in my first year. We did the S&P 500. We did that in a period of less than a year. And that was even tougher than the Dow, they said, so it wasn't going to happen. But we have a great country. We have a country that's never done this well. We've had tremendous success in so many different ways. I built the military and rebuilt it in my first term, and we're using it more than I'd like to use it, to be honest with you. But when we used it, we found out it certainly did work. When we look at Venezuela, when we look at the first attack, Midnight Hammer in Iran, which really set the stage for what we're doing right now, it's been pretty amazing. And I'm once again calling on all members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the military and the police, to lay down their arms. They're only going to be killed. And now is the time to stand up for the Iranian people and help take back your country. You're going to have a chance after all these years to take back your country. Accept immunity. We'll give you immunity. And we'll be giving you really the right side of history, because that's what it is. So you'll be perfectly safe with total immunity, or you'll face absolutely guaranteed death. And I don't want to see that. They don't want to see it either. We also urge Iranian diplomats around the world to request asylum and to help us shape a new and better Iran with great potential. It's a country with great potential. There's much better future for Iran. It's now beginning. It's going to be, I think, a great future. And the United States will ensure that whoever leads the country next, Iran will not threaten America or its neighbors, Israel, anybody. If you look at what happened, they had missiles aimed at all of these other countries, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, many others, that weren't really involved very much, and they had missiles aimed. Well, they were aimed there long before this ever started. They were going after the entire Middle East, and then we came along. We blew up their party. So we have phenomenal people. I want to thank all of the people that have been involved. Marco, you've been doing a fantastic job. And you've been doing a fantastic job on a place called Cuba. And A-Rod came in before. I said, hey, do you want to come up to a little award? He's gone to plenty of award ceremonies. Thank you, A-Rod. Big fan. But what's happening with Cuba is amazing. And we think that we want to finish this one first, but that will be just a question of time before you and a lot of unbelievable people are going to be going back to Cuba. Hopefully not to stay. We want you back, and we don't want to lose you. We don't want to make it so nice that they stay. But some people probably do want to stay. They love Cuba so much. I hear it all the time. That was another one that wasn't supposed to happen. Venezuela is going great. It's been stabilized. We have a wonderful person as your president-elect, Delcy Rodriguez, and she and her staff have been doing a fantastic job working with us. We're taking out hundreds of millions of barrels of oil, and it's going to Houston and various other places where it's being refined, and We're sending them back far more money than they've made in many years, and actually very shortly it'll be more money than they've ever made. And Venezuela is working. So we've had a lot of countries in places that truly love, you would say football, I would say soccer, but these are all countries that love football/soccer. And so I think the group likes it. And if you'd like, you could sit. I know I'm a very exciting speaker, but you can sit down if you'd like, okay? I'm looking at everybody standing. I'm saying, let's sit down. Because we're here to honor these great champions, and we want to take our time, right? Let's get to the reason that we're here, and it's a beautiful reason, because we're honoring truly talented people. Today, we're thrilled to host the 2025 MLS Cup champions, Inter Miami. Great job. And it's my distinct privilege to say what no American president has ever had the chance to say before. Welcome to the White House, Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is, my son said, Dad, you know who's going to be there today? And I said, no, I got a lot of things going on. He said, Messi. And I said, really? He's a big fan. He's a big fan of yours. He thinks you're just a great person, and I think you got to meet a little while. So he's a big soccer fan, but he's a tremendous fan of yours. And a gentleman named Ronaldo. We have Cristiano is great. You're great to play some big champions, some great athletes in that sport, and people that really love what they're doing, and they're doing it well. And it's an honor for us and everybody at the White House to be honoring you today. So congratulations as well to co-owners Jorge and Jose Mas. Mas. We came from Cuba, right? Originally from Cuba? Huh? Your parents came? And you're going to go back, oh, yeah. It's going to be... And you won't need my approval. You just fly back in when I can just see that. It's going to be a great day, right? We're going to celebrate that separately. I just want to wait a couple of weeks. I wanted to wait a couple of weeks, but we'll be together again soon, I suspect, celebrating what's going on in Cuba. They want to make a deal so badly, you have no idea. As well as head coach, who I hear is a phenomenal coach, Javier Mascherano. Where's the coach? I've heard he's a great coach. Well, anybody who wins is a good coach in my book, but I heard you're a hell of a coach. And all of the tremendous players that are just amazing. We're also grateful to be joined by the MLS Commissioner, Don Garber. Don, wherever you're, Don. Stand up, Don. Good job. Good job. As well as proud Miami sports fan, Secretary of State. I'm telling you, he's going to go down as the best Secretary of State in the country's history, Marco Rubio. I don't want him to get too popular. It's true. I don't want him to get too popular. You know, when they get too popular, all of a sudden you see, where's Marco? He's not around anymore. I don't see him. He's doing some job, and your next one is going to be, we want to do that special Cuba. He's waiting, but he says, let's get this one finished first. We could do them all at the same time, but bad things happen. If you watch countries over the years, you do them all too fast, bad things happen. We're not going to let anything bad happen to this country. Also with us are Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's a terrific person and fan. And she's proving how tough she is, and I think the next 3 years she's going to really prove it, right? Huh? Like these people. Secretary Scott Bessent, Lori Chavez Derima, and Sean Duffy. Thank you, everybody. What a great team. And U.S. Trade Representative who's done incredible deals, unbelievable, Jamieson Greer. Thank you, Jamieson Greer. And our country has never been bigger, better, richer, or stronger, and the deals we're making are unbelievable. And a lot of it's because of the tariffs, and a lot of it's because of everything else. We had a little complicating factor with tariffs the other day with the Supreme Court. They did the wrong thing, but it didn't make any difference because we have another way of doing it. They always have to make it the hard way. Do you know about that? You always have to. Is it like that? It's always got to be the difficult way, right? It's a little bit. Huh? Makes you work harder, right? But we're doing great. Our country is doing incredibly well. It's never done like this. It's, I was with the King of Saudi Arabia. He said, a year and a half ago, we thought your country was dead, would never come back. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world, which was sort of cool. I'll relate that story. But many, many leaders say the same thing. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world. 2025 was the record-shattering season for Inter Miami beginning last summer at the historic FIFA Club World Cup, hosted for the first time right here in the USA. So exciting. I shouldn't say this because you'll say I'm old, but I watched Pelé play. He played for the Cosmos. Do you know that? And Steve Ross was a great friend. I don't know how many people remember Steve. He was a legendary businessman. He really started cable and cable TV. He was way ahead of time and ultimately passed away tragically. But he started the Cosmos team and he wanted to get some good players. So he started with Pelé. I don't know. You may be better than Pelé. Pelé was pretty good. Who's better? Him or Pelé?
That's it.
I think he is. But he was pretty good, right? Pelé was pretty good. But it was very exciting, and I went to the games. I'd go every once in a while, but soccer just didn't catch on. And then when Steve got ill, it sort of went away. And then it came back, and now it's just turning out to be amazing how it's coming back in this country. But the Cosmos were a very hot team, playing with other teams that weren't so good. But I got to watch Pelé play, and he was something too. In the June group stage of that tournament, these players went toe-to-toe with some of the best teams anywhere in the world. You tied Egypt's best club, supposed to be an unbelievable, talented club, with a gutsy performance from veteran goalie Oscar Ostari, who played a great game. Then you tied the top Brazilian club, wow, thanks to a brilliant goal from one of the greatest strikers of all time, Luis Suarez. Was he pretty good? Very good. These are good-looking people. Marco, I don't like good-looking men. You don't feel so good about yourself standing up here. Good-looking people. In the 65th minute, Louis gathered the ball around midfield and turned for a vintage solo run, dribbling through the defense, driving past defenders like few people have ever seen before, cutting to his left, hammering home a goal that secured Miami's place in the next round. But no match in the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup was more important than the match against FC Porto. Porto took an early lead, but you came back strong in the 54th minute, tied 1-1. Leo lined up for one of his iconic free kicks. He struck the ball decisively, bending it over the wall and beating the keeper with a sensational left hook. Would I be able to do that if I practiced? He said, no, I think he's right, my friend. Great. In that moment, you sealed a truly historic Inter Miami victory, becoming the first club from North America ever to beat a European club in official competition. Unbelievable. You know, I have to just interject. So over the years, I love sports, and I've I've watched my friend A-Rod. With George Steinbrenner. I'd sit in his box, just the two of us. He would never have anybody but me. He liked me, right? He liked me, and he liked you. He liked almost nobody. There would be a World Series when baseball was hot. It's not as hot now, I'll be honest with you. They do things wrong. But when baseball was hot as a pistol with George, and I'd sit and I'd watch the Yankees, and he'd have 30 seats, and it would just be me and him. And I said to A-Rod, would say, what was the most difficult thing you've ever done? I said, it's probably sitting for 3 hours with George Steinbrenner watching a Yankee playoff game or World Series game. You know what I mean by that. He was a difficult guy, but he was great, right? He liked me, I liked him, and we both liked nobody else. And that was a good combination. But I have to say this. So I've seen a lot of great players come into the world of sports, and they came in from all different countries, all different players. They've come, in some cases, just from different states. They come to the Yankees, or they come to the Dodgers, or they come to whatever. But I've seen them come in from other countries, and there's such a clamor. Oh, so great, everything's great, but they don't win. This guy won. He came in, there was tremendous fanfare, and he won. You know, right? But it's true, they don't win. They come in and, they're great players and they can even play okay, but they don't win. And Leo, you came in and you won, and that's something very hard to do, very unusual. And frankly, there's a lot more pressure put on you than anyone would know, because, you're sort of expected to win, but almost nobody wins. They come in, they're great, they're the best in the world, they get paid a fortune. You came in and you won with all that pressure. That's an amazing tribute, so congratulations. But in that moment, you sealed a truly historic Inter-Miami victory. And think of that, first club ever, North America, to top the so-called European clubs. Pretty amazing thing to do. Returning to the MLS, Inter-Miami built on that incredible momentum, playing a record number of games and scoring a total of 101 goals, the most in MLS history. Is that correct, Mr. Commissioner? Well, that's pretty good. How's Andrew? Is Andrew treating you okay? He's a good golfer, too, actually. People don't know it. He's a very good golfer, right, Andrew? But Trump's a good golfer, too, Andrew. Thank you. With 29 goals in the regular season alone, Leo won the prize Golden Boot, becoming the first player to be named the league MVP twice in a row. Amazing, comes in, a lot of great players. Pretty amazing thing to do, very hard to do. Exploding into the playoffs, this team racked up a series of statement wins, big wins, that frankly wins that a lot of people didn't think they could do. You secured a 3-1 must-win victory over Nashville SC. You thrashed FC Cincinnati 4-0 on the road. And then you routed New York City FC 5-1, led by a hat trick from young star Tadeo Allende. Where is Tadeo? What a group of people. We could have a lot of fun with these guys. You can imagine when they win how they celebrate. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it. In that MLS Cup final against the Vancouver Whitecaps, the entire team played together as one flawless unit. Just flawless, they say. After Vancouver tied the game 1-1, Leo picked the pocket of a Whitecap defender and sent a pass to the great Rodrigo de Paul. Where the hell is Rodrigo? Do you have any bad-looking players? I like the bad-looking guys much better. Who stuck a low-driving shot into the side net, taking the lead. And then in the 6th extra minute of stoppage time, Tadeo drove home your third and final goal, making the score 3-1 and securing your status as the first champions in club history. What an amazing accomplishment. Coach Mascherano, became one of the few head coaches to win the MLS Cup finals in his very first year. And Leo claimed the 47th trophy of his storied career. 47th, can you imagine that? The most of all time. That's the most of all time. So Leo is the reigning FIFA World Cup MVP. You could have gone anywhere in the world. You could have chosen any team in the world, and you chose to go to Miami. I don't blame you. The weather's extremely good. Do you go to Doral? You go to Doral and play golf? And I just want to thank you for bringing us all in this ride, because you are hot and talented and a great person. I look forward to seeing many of you on the summer. We're going to be out there in the summer in 2026 FIFA World Cup. And we have a lot of interesting things, because we have the World Cup and we have the Olympics, and we have the 250, and I was responsible for getting the Olympics in my first term. And I was responsible for getting with Johnny. We got the World Cup, and Johnny's a good man. Do we like Johnny? I think so, right? Like you say, yeah, I think so.